Hello and welcome to Joy News Prime. We are coming to you live from our studios here at IMANI Accra. We are live on DSTV, channel 421, GoTV 125, and around the world on myjoyonline.com. My name is Carlos Caloni.
And I'm Faustina Safo. Tonight, fresh resistance to the removal of the IGP as IMANI Africa labels the swearing in of the new head of the police service as an affront to democracy.
Technically, the president cannot be in contempt of court per se. Contempt is what is personal. But the president's action is contemptuous of the court. It is an affront to the court.
We'll bring you details, plus how the new IGP, Christian Yohonu, became President John Dramani Mahama's preference despite the NDC's previous agitation against his appointment as Deputy IGP by the former President Akufo-Addo.
Also, jubilation among the rank and file of the Ghana Police Service as they welcome COP Tete Yohonu as new IGP. And some Ghanaians have also been reacting to the removal of Dr. Akufo Dampare as IGP, praising him for his selfless leadership.
As a grassroots IGP, he wouldn't stay in Accra to solve issues. The IGP was a friendly leader. His humbleness, I feel he brought stability to the service.
Also tonight, EC Chairperson Jim Mensah announces African EC body's intention to deploy artificial intelligence in running future elections.
We note that since the adoption, we have the emergence of AI in elections, and they'll be sharing with us, their proposals for our consideration and review in today's meeting.
Also, MPs have been eulogizing former Western Regional Minister and MP for Mpoho Wasa East.
Beyond politics.
Well, let's begin from the security front because there is fresh resistance tonight to the removal of Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Akufo Dampare, as IMANI Africa labels the swearing in of a new head of the police service as an affront to democracy. Well, the president announced yesterday through government communications minister that COP Christian Tete Yohonu instead will replace Dr. Dampare, but remains silent on his next steps. Less than 24 hours, IMANI Africa has filed a fresh injunction at the court seeking a number of reliefs.
Well, President John Dramani Mahama has charged the newly sworn-in Inspector General of Police, COP Tete Yohonu, to tackle corruption within the Ghana Police Service head-on. Speaking at the swearing-in ceremony, he stressed the need for decisive action against misconduct to restore public trust. Parliamentary Affairs, Presidential Affairs correspondent, Maxwell Agwagwa reports from the Jubilee House.
It's a lot of excitement and hugging for the personnel, here. Many of them also with higher expectations for the new IGP. President Mahama, in his speech, urged the new IGP, COP Tete Yohonu, to focus also on rooting out corruption in the Ghana Police Service. He also urged him to prioritize the welfare of personnel of the Ghana Police Service.
Additionally, I want to emphasize the importance of improving the welfare of officers under your command. Policing is a very demanding profession that requires sacrifice and dedication. Our officers must be well remunerated, adequately housed, and given access to proper health care and psychological support. A motivated police force is a productive police force.
We've gotten to the juncture where would invite our new IGP in the person of Mr. Christian Tete Yohonu to also make a few remarks.
Your Excellency, I approach this responsibility with the utmost seriousness, fully recognizing the weight of expectations accompanying this role. In alignment with the transformation and modernization of the service, I pledge to uphold the values, traditions, and culture of the Ghana Police Service.
Tenge, she's the former head of the Greater Accra Regional Police. She was transferred to the Volta region where she headed the police public affairs. As a former police officer, what's your assessment of the outgone, IGP's administration?
He did his best. He did his best as an Inspector General of Police. And of course, we all cannot do it all. Each one of us would have to do our individual parts. So he has done his best. And he has left the face for a new face in the Ghana Police Service now.
Well, IMANI Africa's Vice President Kofi Bento says their legal battle to stop the president from removing security agency heads is still ongoing, despite Dr. George Akufo Dampare's removal. Speaking on Top Story, he indicated that the move has the potential of creating confusion within the service.
Technically, the president cannot be in contempt of court per se. Contempt is what is personal. But the president's action is contemptuous of the court. It is an affront to the court. Let me just give you an example of the confusion that has been created. The IGP is a rank in the police service. It is a rank above COP. In the letter that was signed, the IGP George Dampare was referred to as a COP. Is that a demotion? That has legal implications because in Ghana you can't demote anybody. Now, it says replaces COP Dampare. Is that forced retirement or dismissal? What is it? Is that a reassignment or what? That has legal implications. There's a lot of confusion there. Does it remain in the force or not?
Well, meanwhile, some residents of Kumasi have been voicing concerns over the removal of Dr. George Akufo Dampare as IGP, praising him for his selfless leadership.
He was a grassroots IGP. He wouldn't stay in Accra to solve issues.
Now you're friendly, like social media now.
The IGP was a friendly leader. His humbleness, I feel he brought stability to the service.
No, I'm crying now. If you go, no, them create chocolate. Maybe I am the kind one say, "Why justice? Or you no powerful." I'm friendly, you may agro. And they do so many.
Our leaders can really disappoint us. Why would you change or replace a working public servant?
Also, buy so many na yentina buy. Also, bano be Jumagama brand way in it.
Wild jubilation among the rank and file of the Ghana Police Service as they welcome the new IGP COP Teta Yohonu as the Inspector General of Police following the dismissal of George Akufo Dampare.
Police was there. What about that? Hey, what about that?
Well, the immediate past IGP, Dr. Dampare, in the last few hours issued a statement. On your screen are excerpts of that particular statement, and it reads, with reference to the press statement issued on Thursday, March 13, 2025, signed by the Minister for Government Communications, announcing his replacement, the former Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Akufo Dampare, actually wishes to express his heartfelt gratitude to the Almighty God and the good people of Ghana for their prayers, blessings, and support during his time in office. He wishes to express his heartfelt thanks and appreciation to the former President Akufo-Addo for giving him the opportunity to serve our nation as the Inspector General of Police and for making history as the youngest IGP in the Fourth Republic. He is also grateful to the current President John Dramani Mahama for his cordial working relationship in the short time that they worked together. He is particularly grateful for the opportunity to serve the Ghana Police Service for the past 35 years, rising in rank from a General Constable to Inspector General of Police, being the youngest Commissioner of Police as well as the youngest IGP in the Fourth Republic. His many years in the service gave him the opportunity to serve as Director General of almost all departments and a record 2 stints at DG, Welfare and DG Administration. He remains grateful to the Police Management Board as well as the rank and file and wishes everyone well. Now, he continues to say, being given the rank of Inspector General of Police, the highest rank attainable for any police officer, gave him an incredible opportunity to serve. The contribution that the rank and file of the Ghana Police Service has made to security, law and order during his tenure has been enormous. And he wishes to express his continuous commitment to Ghana, our beloved country, and his willingness to serve the nation that he loves. He has served the Ghana Police Service for 35 out of his nearly 55 years of life with an unblemished record. He remains energetic, committed, and enthusiastic about serving his nation with discipline, honor, and integrity.
Well, join us now on the line is NDC MP for Wa West, Peter Tobu. Thank you so much for your time. I just wanted to get clarity. As at last year, when Christian Yohonu was appointed the Deputy IGP, a ranking member, by the way, of the Defense and Interior Committee of the 8th Parliament, James Ogaga, kicked against it. And that was a committee that you were a member of. Now, all of a sudden, months down the line, you seem to be singing a different song, singing his praise. What exactly has changed?
Thank you very much. Let me take this opportunity to say good evening to our cherished viewers. I've been the deputy ranking of the Defense and Interior Committee and now the vice chairman of the Defense and Interior Committee. I think that many people did not understand the position that we held at the time that Mr. Christian Tete Yohonu was appointed as Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of operations. In the past, before 2012, the police service had a law that says that the IGP was going to be supported by 2 Deputy Inspector General. That is Deputy Inspector General in charge of administration and Deputy Inspector General in charge of operations. In 2012, CR 76, Ghana Police Service Regulation 2012 was passed by Parliament. And in that law...
Oh dear, I seem to have lost Peter Tobu. He was just making that point. If you just tune in, we're trying to reconnect the lines to him. We're trying to get the reason why exactly the NDC seems to be singing a different song this time. If you recall as far back as just last year, a few months ago, they were raising concerns about the appointment of Christian Yohonu as Deputy IGP. They seem to be singing his praises now, and we're just reaching him to find out what has changed. When we get him, we'll have that conversation.
Right, first, you may recall also that the Supreme Court ruled that President Akufo-Addo's directive for Daniel Domelevo to take a forced leave was unconstitutional, given the similarities between Domelevo's case and the current suit seeking to restrain the president from removing the IGP. What constitutional breaches do you foresee? I also have a law lecturer at GIMPA, Dr. Kweko Anani Jindi, joining us on this particular issue. Article 202 of the 1992 Constitution gives the president the powers to really appoint the IGP with consultation from the Council of State. But Article 191 offers protection to civil servants, including Dampare, and dismissals or removal must be done with just cause. Many argue the president lacked just cause in the removal of Dampare in this case. Hence, he breached the Constitution. Is that the case? You're a lawyer. Kindly unmute so we can hear you, sir. Hello, sir. If you could unmute your device so we hear exactly what you're saying. Well, we are trying
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Exactly.
Come again. Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak to your cherished viewers across the country and the world for that matter. I think the tendency of presidents to remove or dismiss or replace or demote heads of public institutions. This matter has been settled. It has been settled in the case of Theophilus Donko versus Attorney General, where the Supreme Court made a categorical statement on June 12, 2019, that the fact that somebody has been elected a president is not a just cause to remove a public servant. And if you look at Article 190, it lists the people who fall under Ghana Public Service. And the Ghana Police Service is one. Prison Service is one. Immigration Service is one. What Article 202 speaks about is the appointment. Article 202 does not speak about the dismissal or removal of these heads of these state institutions.
Right.
But they have a protection under Article 195, where if you want to remove them, there must be a just cause. And the Supreme Court has made it clear in the case of Donko versus Attorney General that the election of a new person to the position of a president is not a just cause. So I thought this matter has been resolved. And moreover, somebody has filed an injunction in court. And our jurisprudence tells us that the moment somebody files an injunction, whether it has been brought to your notice or you are aware, awareness could be whether constructive or actual. If that injunction application is before the court, as the person involved, you have to stay whatever you are doing. You remain, the status quo must remain.
Well, so
I don't see the right to appoint a new IGP whilst there's an injunction application pending before the court.
Should the court rule in favor of IMANI, will the ruling apply to the current IGP or future appointments?
Well, it's very tricky here because as far as some of us are concerned, the president should not have gone ahead in the first place. Because from all indications, the president is aware or he's been made aware and he has constructive or actual knowledge of the suit pending. So the first thing, he should have stayed whatever he's doing until the final determination in May. But now that he's gone ahead, if the court makes a determination now, the question is, does it apply to Dampare or it takes future effect? In law, we tell our students that law has no retrospective application. So you cannot go back and then apply the law because in case the court makes a decision, it will apply in future cases. But if the court makes the decision that, well, Dampare should be reinstated because in the first place, his removal of unconstitutional or unlawful, then it would apply to him. But if it doesn't add that caveat, then it will apply to future cases.
Thank you, Doc, for your time here on Joy News Prime. Well, let me bring in Peter Tobu. Thankfully, we've reconnected the lines to him. We're just getting clarity as to why exactly the NDC stance has changed when it comes to the appointment of COP Yohonu.
Yes, as I was saying, before 2012, the police service to have deputy administration and deputy.
Oh dear, we're struggling to get you clearly.
In Parliament. We're talking about
Mr. Peter, you may have to reposition rightly so that I can hear you clearly.
And in that law, there is simplicity deputy inspector general of police position. The position of deputy IGP operations and administration were consummated into one deputy inspector general of police position. And that is why Mr. Christian Tete Yohonu, then Commissioner of Police, was appointed as deputy IGP in charge of operations. We felt that, in fact, it was an insult to the very integrity of Mr. Tete Yohonu that you can't give him one leg to stand on. The law says deputy IGP, simplicity. Why did you give him one leg, operations? So who manages the administration? And that was our argument. The appointment was not the issue, but the designation of somebody in charge of operations was the problem that we had. And we told the president, if you want to appoint Mr. Yohonu as deputy IGP, say so. But don't say so giving him one leg to stand on. That is not right. It is not in the law. Today, he's been appointed as the substantive Inspector General of Police. And we do not have any problem with that. And if he was appointed deputy IGP in the past, we wouldn't have any problem. So that is the problem. It wasn't about his appointment per se. It was about the designation to a special court in charge of operations.
Thank you so much, Peter Tobu, a member of the Defense and Interior Committee in Parliament.
Well, while the president has fired the former IGP, Dr. George Akufo Dampare, he's also been making some fresh appointments to the security front. I mean, people to head. And you see the president, John Dramani Mahama, has appointed the following security service chiefs there. There you have DDGP3 Patience Bafo Boni. She is now Director General of the Ghana Prisons Service. And you see DCFO Daniela Mausi Nto Sapon. She is the new Chief Fire Officer. And DCI Samuel Basantali Amadou. He is the Controller General of the Ghana Immigration Service. So these are the new people the president has appointed as security chiefs.
Away from security, chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Jean Mensah, has announced plans by a 45-member election management body to ensure that they deploy artificial intelligence in future elections. Jean Mensah, who doubles as president of the Executive Committee of the Association of African Election Authorities, made this known at the 3-day conference of the election management bodies to find solutions to the increasing rate of rejected ballots in our elections. James Aveji has more in the following report.
Heads of 45 election management bodies across Africa have converged here in Accra in the last 3 days to look at ways they can address problems of invalid or rejected ballot papers in our elections on the continent. They once saw the proposition of some solutions, including the adoption of electronic voting and redesign of ballot papers to make them user-friendly. On this final day of the conference, president of the Executive Committee of the Election Management Bodies, who is also Ghana's chairperson, Jean Mensah, has been updating us on what the decisions are on the proposals. Do you adopt some of these suggestions and impose them on your members, or you leave them to adopt whichever depending on their capacity?
Very much so, because it's based on the context, and therefore you cannot, it's not something that is being forced on members. What we all propose and what we all aspire to is to reduce the number of rejected ballots, and I think that one is a mandate for all of us to take forward and work towards. And we hope that a year from now, when we meet those who have had elections, will be able to tell success stories of a reduction.
She's also revealed that the electoral commissions across the continent are exploring possible means of adopting artificial intelligence in our future elections.
We note that since the adoption, we have the emergence of AI in elections. Very interesting. And I'm pleased to note that our colleagues from the South African Electoral Commission, led by our own friend here, the chairperson, have gone ahead to address these gaps. And they'll be sharing with us, their proposals for our consideration and review in today's meeting.
There is need to rethink the approach from planning and having a more coordinated approach together with the African Union to ensure that we enhance our collaboration and coordination in the field and avoid duplication.
This conference would also see the election of fresh executive members and president of the executive committee of the election management body. We look forward to see whether Ghana's EC chair, Jane Mensah, would maintain her seat as the current president going forward, or she would have a replacement. From the Labadi Beach Hotel here in Accra, my name is James Savage reporting for Joy News.
You're still watching Joy News Prime. We'll be back after this quick turn.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us here on Joy News Prime. Let's take you to Parliament now, because the minority in the House is demanding the presence of Vice President Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman in the House on Tuesday, March 18, 2025, for the debate on the 2025 budget. During discussions on the business statement, Okaikwe Central MP Patrick Boama argued that her expertise in education should be reflected in the government financial policy. However, Chairman of the Finance Committee, Isaac Adongo, fired back.
I realized that the Business Committee has made allocation for ministers of state, leaving out the Vice President of the Republic, who has been very, very quiet. It will be very, very important to see her in action on the floor, debate the President's economic and financial policy. Especially having been a former Minister for Education. It will be very important for her to be here to articulate the policy decision of His Excellency President Mahama. Mr. Speaker, so I want the Business Committee to amend this and have a time allotment for Her Excellency the Vice President, Professor Jane Opoku-Agyeman, to be here. A few days ago, they were sitting on this side of the house. A few weeks ago, you were sitting here, and you were programming business committee meeting. Did you program the Vice President then to appear in this house, or he was not entitled? Or you assume that he was appearing here and nodding of his head constituted participation? Unfortunately, the Vice President has very busy things to do. She doesn't want to come and be nodding her head. But if you say she has been very quiet, we cannot force you to listen to her. But yesterday, I listened to her.
Well, let's stay in Parliament, because members of Parliament have paid tribute to the Western Regional Minister and former MP from Mpoho-Wasa East, Anthony Evans Amoah. The late minister, who will be laid to rest over the weekend, was the father of co-host of Joy FM Super Morning Show, Windstorm Amoah. In a statement in Parliament, Takoradi MP Kwabena Otri-Dakumense described A.E. Amoah as an exemplary public servant who dedicated his life to serving his country.
Honorable Amoah championed infrastructural development, improved educational opportunities, and prioritized economic empowerment for the people of the region. Even outside government, he remained an elder statesman, serving as the chairman of the Western Regional Council of Elders of the New Patriotic Party from 2014 to 2020, when he played a key role in fostering unity and progress. Beyond politics, he was a man of wisdom, humility, and immense generosity. His contributions to journalism, education, and rural development demonstrated his passion for truth, knowledge, and national growth. He was an exemplary public servant who upheld the principles of fairness, objectivity, and accountability.
Well, the NDC MP for Evaluate Ajumoro Jira Kofi Ako Noko described the late former minister as a man who rose above partisanship.
Speaker, indeed, this world is just a stage, and we are mere actors. And that when the time comes when we are called to exit, our Maker would have no choice. But the good news is that we as a people must always strive to leave legacies. And that's exactly what our just past senior, who was also in this house, did. Mr. Speaker, growing up as a young man in Axim, I remember him when he was the regional minister, and he was such a gentleman, somebody that inspired most of us.
Away from Parliament, midwives across the country are raising concerns over poor working conditions and the shortage of essential medical supplies needed for safe delivery. At their second quadrennial National Congress, the National Association of Registered Midwives of Ghana lamented the lack of professional development opportunities. There's more in this report.
President of the National Association of Registered Midwives Ghana, Mary Ofosu, says the shortage of essential health materials such as gloves hinders the quest for safe deliveries. She urged the procurement department to involve midwives as end users of medical supplies in procurement decision-making processes.
When you come to the field of midwifery, there are a lot of challenges in the facilities that we are working at. At times, common gloves will not get to work with. As we are dealing with human fluids, human blood, we are pleading that the procurement officers at our facilities, when they are procuring things for us, they should involve us because we are the people, we are the end users. They should involve us so that we will get them what we need, what we want, what will benefit us in our core of business.
Mrs. Ofosu also highlighted limited opportunities for midwives to upgrade their skills, as well as discrimination in allocation of public accommodation facilities. She, however, urged midwives not to reject postings to rural areas despite the challenges, as their presence is crucial for maternal health care.
We are also pleading, once they are setting up health facilities, health centers, hospitals, they should factor in bungalows for midwives, so that when they are sending us there, even that person is fresh from school, when she sees the accommodation alone, it will entice her, it will endanger her. I also encourage my midwives that when you are sent to the village, don't take it to be like a punishment.
Reporting for Joy News, Josephine Sego.
Let's now take you to the Upper West region, where a windstorm accompanied by torrential rain has left many residents of Wa municipality homeless. The storm tore through buildings, cut off power supply and destroyed properties. The hardest hit area is the Wa nurses' quarters, where 4 buildings had their roofs ripped off, damaging household belongings. Joy News' Upper West regional correspondent Rafiq Salam reports.
It is a windstorm whose intensity they haven't seen for years. It has ripped off sea of roofs, cut off power supply to several homes, destroyed and down several billboards, and displaced many. One of the worst affected areas was the Wa nurses' quarters. 4 of the quarters had their roof ripped off, mangled and thrown off few meters away from the scene of the incident. The rain came in torrents after the windstorm flooded and destroyed most of their belongings in the homes. 17-year-old Dachia Caleb stays here with his parents. He was at home when the disaster struck.
It was a mixed feeling because we didn't know whether to run inside or to go for refuge, because here's the case, we didn't know what was next, because we didn't know either you go to someone's place and that place too could be next. So we were just confused.
Another victim is midwife Miss Ali.
When it started, then we heard a heavy wind. So we didn't know where the direction it was coming from. So we all ran out. Actually, the rain, it hit us all in the outside. So it took off a lot of people's roofs and then hit on our own. The whole place is leaking. That is what happened.
The disaster that struck here is of enormous magnitude. It is not only the roof that were ripped off, but they also have their power supply also cut off.
I call on the government to help us. If they can come and renovate our houses for us, or RCC will be much grateful, because it's not easy. We've been paying a lot of money, but they don't do any renovation to us. We are pleading on government. If they can do something about it, we'll be much grateful.
We are appealing that whoever that can help should help us, because we are in need, indeed.
It is not only the nurses' quarters that was affected by the windstorm. Here, closer to the Upper West Directorate of the Ghana Health Service, there is a bungalow that was ripped off by the windstorm. Reporting for the News, Rafiq Salam. Wow.
Well, Ghana Bike, a charity organization, has donated 50 bicycles to students in Chamba. Is in their daily struggle of walking 9 to 13 kilometers to school. The initiative aims to make education more accessible for these children, committed to bridging educational gaps through cycling. Ghana Bikes has provided over 300 bicycles to students across the northern, upper east and Volta regions over the years. There's more in the following report.
The team set up with a mission to put smiles on the face of some children who walk about 13 kilometers to school in Chamba in the Nanumba North municipality of the northern region. They conquered the Volta region through to the Oti region and finally arrived in the northern region, riding over 300 kilometers. Not even the hot temperatures in the area would stop the GBB team on its mission to put smiles on the face of these 50 students picked to benefit from the donation of bicycles. The atmosphere was electric with music, dancing, and the community set to meet the team at the entrance of Chamba. As the riders approached the finish line, they were greeted with a heroic welcome with cheers, applause, and dancing by parents and the students. Speaking after the presentation of the bicycles and learning material, a member of the team, Cookie, one of the founders of the group, said their aim is to make education accessible and quality to children.
It takes such actually little effort to give a child an education. A V8 can buy us how many bicycles in Ghana nowadays? How much is a V8? How many bikes can you buy with a V8 and give a kid an education? So, you know, it doesn't take a lot of us for us to help Ghana in this way, you know what I mean? And it's really tough on the kids. I mean, it's not only that they have to go to school, they have to help at home, on the farm, the chores and so on. So, I mean, it doesn't take...
Well, Ghana's culinary heritage was on full display at Taste 68, a food festival marking Ghana Month, organized by the Ghana Culture Forum in collaboration with the Ghana Tourism Authority. The event celebrated the richness of local cuisine. The tourism minister underscored the role of Ghanaian food in preserving heritage and cultural identity. Jacqueline and Soma Yebua report.
From the sizzling aroma of apapransa to the rich flavors of acheke, Taste 68 is a feast for the senses. Food lovers, celebrities, and cultural enthusiasts have gathered to celebrate Ghana's culinary heritage. Speaking at the event, Tourism Minister Abla Chifa Gomashi underscores the importance of showcasing Ghanaian cuisine.
When I look through now, what brought my weakness on would be the tolobif angwa mono. And you have deliberately said that I've tasted a lot. They've done very well. It shows the variety, 68 different dishes from our country. And that's not the end of it. I mean, there's a lot more, but because we wanted it to rhyme, 68 at 68 is the only reason why we don't have more than this. We need to rein ourselves in and check ourselves from the unfettered appreciation for other people's cultures. The more you celebrate other people's cultures, the more you relegate yours to the background.
The CEO of the Ghana Tourism Authority, Mami Ifua, also shared her love for local dishes.
Looking, you know, but my favorite food is fancy.
Oh, really?
So I'll go to the fancy stand, but for now I'll try the acheke, kelewele and tilapia.
For many here, it's more than just a food festival. It's a journey through some of Ghana's diverse flavors.
The original gobe.
No gobe.
Yeah, Orokodo.
What about you?
Breezy, Chris Breezy, Kokonte.
Bosu, what about you?
I'm having a plan. Ademe, and then a little crab, one crab, and then kako. But I'm looking to see maybe some wele or something. If I don't get, I'll go back.
Abolo with Ademe.
How is it going?
It's going great.
Like, this is my first time tasting it, and it's not all that bad. Like, it's nice.
But the highlight of the day, the much anticipated jollof war.
Before I speak, I want you to feel the flavor. Bring your nose closer. Can you smell it? How is it?
It's good.
Jollof. I'm cooking vegan jollof.
I'm making fish jollof. It's a local fish jollof.
Oh, okay, I can't wait to taste it.
International jollof.
Yeah.
Anointed jollof.
That's international jollof, and this anointed jollof.
Having cooking unbreakable correct Ghana at 68.
With food, culture, and community at its core, Taste 68 at 68 has brought Ghana's flavors to life, reminding the world why our traditional dishes deserve global recognition. For Joy News, I'm Jacqueline Ansama Yaboa.
Well, Carlos, at this
are we
point,
wrapping up?
I have to leave you so that you can...
What you plan this weekend?
Well, I'll be going for Winston's father funeral. We're mourning, so that's how I plan to spend my weekend. But I will be leaving you now so that you can have fun with Becky on Showbiz.
Right. Thank you. Showbiz is up next. Well, the queen of showbiz is in studio, Becky Bex.
Happy Friday to you.
A happy Friday to you too.
When we say the name Manifest, what comes to mind?
Manifest, a musician that I know that is so artistic, and I love his songs.
Okay.
That's what comes to mind.
So he is out with a new album.
Oh.
He was on Hit FM and had a long conversation about what the album is about and the inspirations that he got during the making of the album and how long he made that album. Manifest, everybody.
Yeah. Well, which sound actually caught your attention in the process of composing this, putting together this project?
I mean, one common thread in my albums is that I try to innovate like the fusion or the hybridization of sounds. I'm a hip hop guy, no doubt, but I also grew up on African music. So I'm always finding the most creative way to hybridize, you understand? So this was another adventure in that, to see how, like I said, trying to be concise with both sonics, lyrics, etc. So I was trying to figure out, how do you make something big, but how do you make it familiar? And how do you make it new at the same time? So we do that. We Charlie Chinchim and it's beautiful.
Keep tweaking. Keep tweaking.
It's part of one of my favorite things of the process, really trying to how to find new innovation. You understand? So
how do you settle on a sound? How do you settle?
How do I settle? It has to feel good first and foremost. It has to ginger me.
Okay.
I have to be that excited because I've been doing this for a while. So if I'm not excited by something, that means it's just the same repetitive something. And two is like, how long does it last me? Like in terms of, sometimes when you're doing something in the studio, immediately you're excited. How do you feel 3 days later, a week later, 6 months later, a year later? That for me is a testament to it, because sometimes there's that immediacy bias. Understand? Something may just happen right now, so if you say you do, but sometimes you need to live with it and sit with it, but let it lie. A week later, are you feeling that excited, or now is it beginning to sound mundane? So for me, it's like, yo, Charlie, how are we going to do something really dope with nobody here before? Like, if you hear the trailer, the song that really for me is like the centerpiece of this album is a song called I Read. Maybe we can play it after.
And I Read.
And it's innovative, it's familiar, it's hip hop, but it has
brass band.
Charlie, you understand? Innovation is really like, Charlie, there's something about it that you can't escape when something is innovative.
How long did it take for you to put this project together?
Yeah, I mean, the majority
14 songs.
Yeah, the majority of this project, was put together in a month in 2023, right? And when I traveled to Seattle and LA, came back to Accra, and then within that 4-week period, it was done. So then I had the album, right? But then, like I said, you sit with it when you're trying to figure out stuff, business, distribution, etc. And then you sit with it, and then you're still working because you figure out, I had the album mastered in July of 2023. Then
New Road and Guava Trees album is out, so you should go and stream that album. It looks like there's a lot more musicians putting out body of works this particular month. One of those is Sina Soul. She's also out with that album. She titled the album Did I Lie? And we have 12 songs off that album. And so that's with Sina Soul. Also, we have, some musicians, releasing singles. Actually, today, I know Edem is your favorite.
Yeah.
So he's out with a new one called Haya. Right? So he's singing his Dagbani language, and the Soweto Youth Choir. It's also sing. So we're very excited, and we're leaving you with Chana by Samini. Shine, everybody shine, and wish you all the best this weekend. Please don't forget to log on to myjoyonline.com. That's where you find all the news. We're so grateful that you could have us the entire week. We'll be back next week to do this all over again. You have something for the fans?